Hey, this is Mike, and welcome back to the Happy Trekkers channel. In this video, I am going to give you the top 5 reasons you will love Chicago. If you like this type of content, make sure you let me know by clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. Now let's get into the video. If you've never been to Chicago, you are missing out on one of the great American cities. You really do owe it to yourself to visit. I lived there for 5 years, and like Sinatra says in his beloved song about Chicago, each time I roam, Chicago is calling me home. It's a fantastic city, and I really do love it. I hope you will too. Number 5, history. Like many great cities, Chicago began its journey as a trading city due to its location on Lake Michigan. In fact, Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable is credited as the first permanent non-indigenous settler of what would later become Chicago. This is as far back as 1780. And the city was officially incorporated in 1837, and since then it has had incredible history. Abraham Lincoln was nominated by the Republican Party there in Chicago. The Great Chicago Fire burned everything to the ground. The city rebuilt. It hosted a couple of World Fairs. The Cubs won the World Series before taking a short 108-year break before the next one. After World War I, Chicago became known for its version of the blues and jazz. There was that whole Al Capone thing. Funny story, a few years ago, my wife and I spent a month in the Canary Islands, which are about 200 miles off the coast of Africa. Every time we would mention that we were from Chicago, people would say, "Oh, Al Capone." I guess he's more popular than we thought. Anyway, buildings came and went. Michael Jordan and Oprah came to town. 2 guys named Siskel and Ebert gave the city 2 thumbs up, and eventually a guy with a funny name that kicked around town for a while became the president. So Chicago is a broad spectrum of American history. Number 4, being outside. I know what you're thinking. Mike, isn't Chicago miserably cold? Yeah, well, yes, it can be. But when spring and summer roll around, being outside in Chicago is magical. People are so excited to finally be outdoors that they take full advantage of it. Where else in the Midwest can you leave your high-rise office and walk over to the beach to enjoy a leisurely lunch or play some volleyball? It doesn't happen anywhere else. The Lakefront Trail along Lake Michigan is 18 miles of paved path that's filled with people riding bikes, jogging, just laying in the grass, catching some sun and relaxing with a good book. Downtown, you can stroll along the Riverwalk and enjoy a glass of wine while you take in the view of this beautiful city. And then you maybe head over to Navy Pier to watch the fireworks. Even during the winter, the frozen lake and the shifting ice, it's its own beauty, and I love it, and you really can't get enough of it. Number 3, food. Chicago is a world-class food destination with a menu as diverse as its people. Chicago offers up everything from a classic Chicago dog, the deep dish pizza that we're all familiar with, Italian beef sandwiches, steaks, street tacos. The list just goes on and on. I'm not sure which is more famous outside of Chicago, the Chicago dog or the Chicago pizza. In my completely unscientific opinion, I have to go with the Chicago dog as the official food of Chicago. The Chicago dog is seemingly loved by everyone. It's a unique mix of all beef franks topped with mustard, neon green relish, onions, sport peppers, tomato, a pickle spear, celery salt, all on a steamed poppy seed bun. It never fails to put a smile on my face as it fills my belly. But don't think it's all casual. You can easily find some of the best steaks in the world at places like Gene and Giorgetti's Steakhouse or the Chicago Chop House. If a more theatrical experience is your style, then you won't want to miss the 17-course meal at world-renowned Alinea. It's voted one of the top 10 restaurants in the world. And in addition, you can find food from every corner of the earth, from restaurants that serve pierogies to poke, from ramen to Romanian food. There is something for every appetite in Chicago. Number 2, architecture. Chicago has the greatest diversity of architecture of any modern American city, and there is a reason for that. When the Great Chicago Fire destroyed 2,000 acres of homes and businesses in 1871, the city vowed to rebuild, and wood was actually banned as a building material for fear that fire would happen again. And as a result, a more permanent material like brick and limestone and marble became the preferred choice for construction. So that level of permanence means to this day there are thousands of structures that date to the turn of the last century, which means you can walk through history as you move from one neighborhood to the next. It's a beautiful city. But that's not to say that Chicago doesn't have its share of gleaming glass and metal skyscrapers. It absolutely does. In fact, the Sears Tower is probably the most famous. Incidentally, you will immediately be pegged as a tourist if you call it anything other than the Sears Tower. Trust me on that. Other great architectural favorites are the Water Tower on Michigan Avenue. That's from 1869. The Wrigley Building, Frank Lloyd Wright's studio, the Chicago Merchandise Mart, Marina City, the John Hancock Building, the Buckingham Fountain. If you love architecture, take an architectural tour by boat. I've taken that thing 5 times and it never fails to impress. And the number one reason to love Chicago is the people. We moved to Chicago after becoming empty nesters. We didn't know anybody, and within a few months, we started to find tons of people with similar interests. One of the great things that people forget about living in a big city like Chicago is that if you have something that interests you, I bet you can find 100 people in a town of 10 million that share that same passion. It's easy to make friends. Chicago may be freezing for half the year, but the chill in the air is offset by the warmth of its people. It's a big city, so people are busy and they're in a hurry, but people are happy to stop and talk or give you directions or tell you what their favorite restaurant is. You just need to ask them. The city is also set up in 77 distinct and recognized neighborhoods, which is kind of unique to a lot of towns. Each of these neighborhoods has its own unique vibe and feel, and you will find that people take great pride in that neighborhood and its culture. Chicagoans are open and friendly people, and when the winter melts into spring, the people take every chance they can to get outside and mingle with each other. Street festivals fill the calendar, volleyball leagues open up to the beach. There's just absolutely no shortage of things to do and people to share it with. In short, Chicagoans are happy to welcome you into their city. There are so many other things I could mention. The fact that Chicago has 5 professional championship sports teams, a fantastic public transportation, an amazing diversity of ethnic groups and culture, world-class museums, tons of public art. In closing, Chicago should be on the top of your list as a place to visit. I really hope you liked that video. Let me know what you like about Chicago in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and make sure you ring the bell so you get notified every time we post a new video. Until the next time, keep on trekking.